Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today this will be my first time recording a movie review. This movie is going to be Magazine Dreams. Saw it for the second time today. I know it came out weeks ago, but just thought I'd make a review on Magazine Dreams. I would like to start off by saying Jonathan Majors did a great job as Killian Maddox. He did a great job. This would have been an Oscar-nominated performance. If he's eligible, he definitely should be a nominee. I don't know if he'll win it. To be honest, it doesn't matter if you win. I think if you get nominated, that's enough. Obviously, this movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago, but the stuff with Grace Jabari, they, whole lot of nonsense behind the scenes, and, he just could. But I think if that stuff didn't happen, he'd have been well on his way to being like a top 10 Hollywood actor, male or female, black or white actor in Hollywood right now, because that was a great role. As far as the film, I thought the film was very sad from the first minute to the end. There was a few happy moments, a few bright spots, but for the most part, it was just depressing and dread. Most of my friends liked this film. I liked it as well. I felt like this definitely, if you were a fan of bodybuilding, then for me, it just, for like the day, I'm like, I don't want to work out. I don't want to do anything. I just felt really like down after watching that. Because I feel like this movie should have been called The Dark Side of Bodybuilding. They showed you all the negative aspects that people never talk about, from the negative effects of steroids on the mind, the body, and just the bodybuilding life, and how like weird it can be, like all the food he was eating and the diet he was in and the way he was prepping and stuff like that. And they also showed that he wasn't really as hard as he trained, he still came like second to last, almost dead last. And how genetics play a factor, or a lot of people think you just take these drugs and then you're just going to be like the next big pro. Like, it don't work like that. There's a lot of things involved, and they showed all of that. They were honest about everything. That's one thing I loved about the film. Yeah, I didn't like that there wasn't really a plot. I feel like this movie was less about bodybuilding and more about loneliness and human connection, and trying to seek that, and how this man was struggling with just the isolation, and everything he was feeling was exacerbated from him taking steroids, and how his life was crumbling, and how everything was just spinning out of control. He just couldn't control it, and then he couldn't take it. Yeah. But I just wish there was a stronger plot. There was just, other than that, that wasn't really the plot of the film. And I felt midway through the film that I felt less and less sympathy for him, because I felt like a lot of his issues, a lot of his problems, a lot of his mistakes were stuff he created, and he wasn't really to accept his own responsibilities. He wasn't willing to be accountable, and that's partly what led down to his path as well. Like, actions have consequences, and you can't just blame the world for where you're at. And I think his grandfather said a line about that. Now I'm thinking about it, about how you can't blame the world for how it is. You just gotta accept it, something like that. I'm not saying to say that, but it was something. It was definitely something to refer to Killian. And also the Brad Vanderhorn character, the Michael Kern character that he played. I'm really surprised that they showcased some type of manipulation and people getting taken advantage of in the bodybuilding world. That's something that people just don't know about. But it was an important lesson about never meet your heroes, because when you put them on this pedestal, they can never meet the standard that you set on them. When you look up to them that highly, like, they're all flawed just like us. Only thing different about them is that they're popular. So, yeah. That one thing I didn't really like was the ending. Thought it was too open-ended. I wish there was like a more direct ending. I was gonna try to make this spoiler-free, but at the end, he kind of quits steroids and says he's gonna be like one of the best bodybuilders out there. I'm like, man, if you was taking steroids, you couldn't make it. I don't know if you're gonna make it naturally, because you're gonna lose that size, plus you're still kind of sick. So I don't know if they're trying to set up a sequel, and like Magazine Dreams 2, Return of Killian Maddox, or something like that, or even if they make a sequel called Return of Maddox or Return of Killian. I doubt it, But these days, everything get a sequel. Everything. So you just never know. So I wouldn't count that out. If it got a sequel, I'd give it a watch. Who knows if they have any plans for it. Um, I don't know. I heard something that it was a flop. The movie, like, from the first 2 weeks, was already out of theaters. It was barely in theaters for very long. I don't know if it's because of the Jonathan Major situation or what. But, they were trying to tell people, oh, go watch the movie. And I couldn't even see it in theaters if I wanted to. So it was kind of strange in that regard. But it's a good film. I give it a 7.5. Most of my friends give it 8, 8.5. Take that with what you will. I would say give it a shot if you're a fan of bodybuilding, even if you're not one yourself. I'm not really one. Maybe I am a little bit, but I'm not really one myself. But um, you may enjoy it. It's a good movie. I give it good enough. I don't know if it's as amazing as some people saying. Some people are giving it a perfect score. I don't know. It's just, it was just really depressing through and through. But it was good. I did like it. But thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace.